And I'm really excited that he is willing to give us his time to help us move forward in a way that works for our own community. Thanks for coming, Mark.
Thank you. Yeah.
Here, here.
There he is.
Boop, boop.
You guys know you're making history, right?
Yeah!
I just want to make sure everybody's aware of the history you're making. It's pretty phenomenal to be out here in Humboldt. This is my third trip out, getting to meet everybody. I've known Melania since the very beginning, before this was even the conversation, and her and I have been good friends for a while. And kind of watching sort of what's happened on the other side of the Green Bridge here, and really just being able to be a part of this has been pretty phenomenal. So thank you guys all for your work. I want to thank Lele especially for her friendship and her leadership in all of this. It's been a hard work. It's not easy. And the staff members, the volunteers, everyone here at CCVH has done a great job in bringing everyone together for a common cause. And that's the first step to any sort of great change. I also want to thank Patrick, and I don't know if Luke's here tonight, I didn't see him earlier, as well as Isaiah, for just their representation of the community and the way that you guys provide a real rational, objective approach that is heartfelt and that really brings a powerful voice to CCVH. It's pretty amazing to see this community of farmers and for you guys to try to bring so many varied voices, so many issues, so many challenges that we all face here as a community together, and be able to have it in your minds, in your heads. It has been pretty amazing. And that PR work, that representation, that leadership is extremely important to what you're up to. I also want to thank Steve and Jubal. He's not here. I don't know if he's here tonight. I didn't catch him. As well as Jonathan for all of their hospitality and just your listening, the education you provided me, as well as the stand for what's really best for everybody. You guys have been a continued stand for everyone. And there's not a motive, an agenda. It's really just heartfelt and it's real. And I really appreciate that, and I want to thank you guys for that.
Here, here.
I also want to say thank you just the CCVH team, the staff, the volunteers, everybody I've met, the community at large for being here, and for the countless hours that everybody's putting into this. It's hard work and it takes a lot of dedication. It takes a lot of focus to keep your eye on the prize and keep moving forward despite the challenges. And I think there's a lot to be said about the integrity and the character of this community that I personally have been blown away by.
Indeed.
It's amazing. It's amazing.
It really is.
So a little bit of information about myself, guys. My name is Mark Slaugh. I own iComply. iComply's been around since 2011 in Colorado. I got involved in this industry actually back in your shoes during college. I was going to school every day, smoking bud, going to my tests, smoking weed. And I noticed that I wasn't turning into a degenerate loser that couldn't keep his life together. Something about what society was telling me was not right. And so I joined Students for Sensible Drug Policy. If you guys are aware of that national organization, they have over 3,000 chapters nationwide. We do a lot of work among the youth to really develop the next level and generation of talent in this movement. And here I am now in the root ball of the American cannabis industry, seeing the grandfathers and the great-grandfathers of what has come forward. And it's pretty amazing. So I got involved having to deal with my pit bulls, my shotguns, putting my boards up on my windows to make sure my neighbors didn't see it, watching my utility bills, trying to stay under the radar while I sold weed during college to get through and to get by. It was the Great Recession back then, if you guys know that was a thing, especially in Colorado and the city I was in. And the city that I was living in is called Colorado Springs. Has anybody heard of that?
Unfortunately,
yeah,
yes.
Unfortunately, right? Talk about a tough place to do marijuana policy work. It's 5 military bases, focus on the family, a church with 50,000 people that go to it. Very conservative. I think one of the 4th or 5th most conservative places in the nation. And it was an uphill battle. I'm a young Latino advocate coming out of college, and I had studied this industry for 6 months and went, wow, look at the potential we have here. Because like myself, other caregivers were coming into the market. We were helping out patients. And even though we had laws on the books since the year 2000, California had it since '96, we were just getting used to what this industry meant and what it really looked like. And nobody had a clue. We just knew that we liked marijuana, we grew it, we knew it helped patients, and we wanted this to be free. So we came in at a time when there was a mass transformation, because within about 3 months from the Ogden memo, where the federal government said you could violate federal law with patients and caregivers as long as you were following state law, we saw that the government of Colorado actually reined it in the first legislative session. And they reined it in pretty hard. What they did was they took the worst of the casino rules that they knew, cameras, security, watching the inventory, and alarm systems, I mean, the whole 9 yards, mixed it in with what they knew from the alcohol world, which was all about inventory management, ID checks, and qualifying access. And they kind of made this demon hybrid baby that we called the Colorado marijuana law. And if you guys have read any of it, it's pretty severe. And I think a lot of people, when they think of commercial cannabis compliance and they see a company from Colorado, they're assuming everything else in the rest of the nation is going to be that way. And I think what we have here is a tremendous opportunity to not repeat the mistakes of the past.
Indeed.
To really look at what are the potential pitfalls in the marijuana industry. Where can we do better? And where can we look for opportunities to make that situation better in the best interest of everybody? So that's kind of where I was before the industry. I started working for a local cannabis industry organization, much like CCVH. I was unpaid for many years.
Yep,
So
a lot of free work.
I can really appreciate your guys' struggle. It's not easy, but a lot of free work for the right reasons and doing the right things for the right people. And I ran that for 3.5 years. I was also the Southern Colorado Regional Coordinator for Amendment 64, back when we were gathering signatures and pushing it through and campaigning, going to Romney events, literally with 4,000 Republicans and chanting, states' rights, vote for weed, right? And we ended up passing this thing in El Paso County, Colorado Springs, by a pretty decent margin, about 5,000 votes. So I've been through the trenches a little bit. I've been out there for patients that have been prosecuted by local conservative DAs, trying to send them through for cancer, and because they had 52 plants and producing their own oil at home, thinking they're some sort of drug lord. And I've seen this conversation change nationally. It's been crazy. And a lot of people that see Colorado coming up see this very tightly controlled, almost golden model. And trust me, most Coloradans would want to think it, and they have some things to say about what they think about California, right? But I agree with Steve. Colorado is kind of the way to go. There's this bridge that we're transcending. So I just want to kind of say that I'm here really without any sort of agenda. I don't have any other reason to be here except to be humbled, to be in Humboldt, to be a part of this movement, to watch it happen in front of my eyes, and to see the amazing people that are making it happen.
Indeed.
So we're here as a friend, as an ally, as a supporter during this tough transitional time where there's going to be a need for getting this right, for doing it by learning from the lessons of the past, avoiding those pitfalls, looking for those opportunities. And I know compliance can be a pretty scary word because it's kind of the unknown. You guys are where I was when I first started. And it's coming, and you can feel it in the air. Something pretty magical about this place, and I fall in love with it every time I come back. Like outside of the trees and the ocean and the water, just something amazing about this movement that's really transforming. Spirit. You guys are, there's absolute spirit here. But you're the root ball of the American cannabis industry.
Truth.
And it's growing, and it's about to yield, and it's about to harvest. And you should be really, really happy about that. And I think we're drying and curing right now, if you ask me. This is awesome. This is awesome. So I really want to thank you guys for having me here tonight and just listening to me. Kind of give you my perspective and let you know what I'm kind of thinking, because having dealt with local politics, having dealt with inner conflict, with the unknown, I know that the one thing you can always count on is your family and is each other. In this community, everyone is family. Whether you're from NorCal, whether Northern Humboldt, Southern Humboldt, doesn't matter. There's this transcendence of being in the same bubble, being among the same people, doing the same things, living the same passions, that's going to transcend anything. And it's that unity that is so important to this community.
Indeed.
I can't emphasize enough the importance it is for you guys to be working together. So CCVH is your voice. There's a community here of women. There's a community here of growers. Woo! There's a community here of policymakers and movers and shakers. And everyone's minds are going to be needed. And everyone's hearts are going to be even needed more. Because it's important that you work together. It's important that we come together, that we eat together. And at the end of the day, that we vote together.
Yep.
Right? Because that ends up having a huge impact. 25% of all the money moving through this city, Arcata, Eureka, Trinidad, the rest of Southern Humboldt, comes from this industry.
Maybe more.
You realize that?
Maybe
25%. And it gets... okay, so that's reported income on Wikipedia, right? By the way, your average income on Wikipedia is something like 26 grand. So good job dodging taxes for so long. I love that.
Could you triple that number?
I think you could easily triple or quadruple that number. What we saw in Colorado when we went from medical to recreational was about 5 times the business.
Sometimes 10.
Overnight, sometimes tenfold for some of these dispensaries overnight. So there's we saw a struggle down there trying to get local cities to get on board with regulation, but that's a whole other story. I just want you guys to know the importance of staying together, voting together, winning together, continuing to fight together, because this community needs that unity. And the more people you can bring together, the better your ideas are going to be, the more powerful impact you're going to have on this world.
Here.
And it's important that you don't stop just after this permit process is through. This is battle number 1, and you guys are getting battle tried. You're getting hardened. You're starting to figure out together who's the generals, who's the colonels, who's the soldiers, right? And starting to figure out what it takes to go to battle together. It's going to be really important because this permit process is just step number 1. And in this industry, politics and policy go hand in hand, and you can't escape that. And it's going to change. You're going to have new lawmakers, both in Sacramento as well as here locally. And that means new laws come out. And you're going to have changes to the way that you have to do business because of that. And I know that's not the most popular thing to say in this room, but it's just the basic reality of American business and politics. And that need is never going to go away. So you're always going to need your voice in influencing and creating and truly defining that process for yourselves.
Woo!
You have to.
You have to. You have to. And if there's any sort of lesson learned I can give you, that's going to be a strong message for you to resonate with, it's that one. That unity is going to create this community, it's going to hold it together, and it's going to set the standards for the rest of the world.
Get informed.
And you're lucky because you have things that are different than what we had in Colorado. We had the state telling us what to do, literally within a 3-month process. We literally had to find growers and dispensary owners within a week. We had 1 week to find your common partner. And they were forcing business model partnerships between growers and dispensary owners within the same business organization within a week.
Vertical integration.
So these shotgun weddings happened, and nobody expected to be married to probably the person they'd never get married to. So literally within 18 months of the Colorado the industry, we lost a large chunk of our businesses because you also had shotgun divorces that were pretty ugly.
Yep.
And I think it's amazing that you have the opportunity in California to have local control, to truly define this for yourselves, right? And I've got to say, it's exciting when Patrick says that they're working with local regulators to make that happen. You've got Cal Fire on your team now. You've got Fish and Game on your team now.
Fish and Wildlife.
Fish and Wildlife, thank you.
My bad. I was saying
The Water Board, as well as the environmentalists, all coming to the table to figure this out. To figure out what to do with 25% or more of the local economy and the business owners and the heritage farmers that are here. And that's phenomenal. You're at a point right now in history that's going to make a difference. And I think it's important also to realize that we have this responsibility as this all changes. A responsibility in respect. In really respecting the land and our communities, our fellow neighbors in the neighborhoods, and the watershed itself, which is so important to this community. And it's pretty amazing to see that you guys are developing that in your own way. And it all starts and begins in Humboldt in general with that respect, which is amazing. So I want to talk to you about compliance. And not in a way that seems like it's overbearing, and not in a way that it seems like it's impossible, But I want to talk to you about compliance as an opportunity. Because I think it's really important to understand what we can capitalize on here if we move forward in the right way with the right people. And compliance is an opportunity for this sustainability and the respect that you guys are about here in Humboldt to transcend in all of those aspects, whether it's the community, the environment, the watershed, etc. What compliance does is provide you the tools to be able to show that you're above board. Because you're going to be the white hats of this industry. You're going to be the good operators. You wouldn't be here if you weren't. And it's the 10% of those operators out there that are giving you a bad name already. And in a big way, compliance allows the regulators to look at who's doing it right and who doesn't care. And you want to be the ones that are doing it right. So the world we're in is really one about creating that transparency, about being able to show people that you're doing it the right way, that you're living up to the practices, the standards, the codes that the community values and that the community has set down as law, because the community is much bigger than just the growing community. This has an impact. Like Patrick said, it has an impact on the world. The whole world is watching.
We are the world.
We are the children.
You know, this opportunity with compliance creates really truly the first sustainable, long-term, homegrown and heritage industry that Humboldt has seen in a very long time. The fish people couldn't do it, the logging industry couldn't do it, but you certainly can. And I think it's time to turn the tide and understand where you're at in the present and what it is that you can create for the future. It's pretty phenomenal.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Woo!
This is really good IPA, by the way. Good call, Isaiah.
Isaiah has a few good ideas. He does.
Isaiah's got a few good ideas, that's true. And IPA choices are one of them.
Yeah, right here.
But guys, the present is now, and what you have going on for you is pretty tremendous. And I'm always really taken aback and very respectful about where the past has been for this community. And it's been a very difficult one. It's been one where your homes have been taken from you. It's been a past where people have had their names slandered in the public and your family's name slandered. It's been one where your families have been incarcerated and your freedoms have been taken away, which is not what the original founders in this community wanted. They wanted to escape the old ways of life and create new freedom. I think that there's a lot of damage, there's a lot of pain, there's a lot of scars that have been left over from this war on drugs. And whether you're a black man in New York being harassed and arrested for weed, or whether or not you're actually 3 generations into fearing for your lives every single day and having to worry about the lives of your kids and keeping it underground and keeping it a secret because of the stigma, the judgment, the lies, the bullshit that's been thrown against marijuana for so long. I just have a lot of respect for what people have gone through and losing their loved ones, and having their money taken from them and their prosperity and their way of life for being good at what they do. Yeah, your kids taken from you.
It's kidnapping.
I think that's extremely important as to why the Women's Alliance has a true voice in this community.
The founding fathers wanted to put health freedom in the Constitution.
Yeah.
Indeed.
And it is about freedom at the end of the day. Right now, you're not. They haven't given it to you. They still can harass you. There's still people getting felony charges within the last couple weeks. Even right here in Humboldt, where the community's kind of got this begrudging acceptance, but you're still here. You're still owning up an entire building tonight and raising funds to do something better. Because in this transition, we have a tremendous opportunity ahead of us. We have an opportunity to truly define, be proud of, and protect the heritage we've come from. The sacrifices that people's made should not be in vain. This needs to be something that carries itself forward because it's literally taken blood, sweat, and tears to create. And I have no loss of respect for that. I have absolute humility for it. And I hear it all the time when I talk to you guys. And everybody has a story like that. I think it's important that we look at how to protect the tradition and the families and the heritage and the farms and really define who you are to the rest of the world. Truly define that, because you hear 1,000 different things about Humboldt, and half of them aren't true. But you can say what is, where you've come from, where you're going, what it is you do. And I think there's a big opportunity here to maintain the quality of life that everybody enjoys. I think it's a big reason we don't want large upscale growers coming in here and taking it all over. And you're going to need a local voice to protect that.
Exactly.
Because there's a quality of life in knowing your teachers,
Unified
and
voice.
where your kids go to school, and the other family down the street. That is extremely important to the way people live here. And I think it's also important just to be proud instead of scared. Proud of who you are, what you do as a community and as a grow industry, and really what it is that you've created here, which is extremely special.
Honest money.
And I can't say it enough. I'm humbled to be here. I always say, first day I came out, I am humbled to be in Humboldt. This is something I said. And it's absolutely true. This is an amazing community. I've never met people that are more honest, open, genuine, authentic, generous.
Indeed.
Absolutely. Generous is huge. And passionate about who you are and what it is you do.
Great smiles.
It's an amazing community to be in. And you're literally, guys, you're capable of anything and everything. And you keep proving it time and time again. You should be proud of yourselves.
Humboldt!
And yeah, as I think in the theme of Green Week, it's appropriate to say, yes, we can do this.
Yes, we cannabis!
And if you don't know that messaging yet, pick up the flyer, because everything on there is true. And at the end of the day, there's no need, guys, with this opportunity to raise our children in secrecy. And that ends now for the next generation, because you can, and because you should. This is a golden opportunity to do it better than everyone else already has tried to do. Who knows it better than Humboldt? There's so much institutional knowledge here, it blows my mind. And I've been doing it for half a decade in Colorado, and I still witness something new, innovative, creative out here, whether it's a technology, your soils and your organic processes and methodologies, or just the way that you connect to each other and come together around things. You can do it better than anyone else ever has. And the rest of the nation's waiting for it, because words like sustainability are a foreign concept in Colorado.
Yep.
They don't know what that means.
We
They don't know
even
what
try.
to do with that. And it's sad, because now they're going through a lot of problems, because they didn't realize that maybe like organic farming is a good idea, right? And I'm going to say this, and this is probably political suicide back in Colorado, so be careful who you tell, but you guys know the Sanjay Gupta thing and the kids that were taking the oil for their seizures. Part of the process is, and I got this from one of their head growers who quit because of this, was that they would take plants that were just about to be mature and turn into oil for these kids and dip them in Eagle 20 to kill off the pesticides they didn't manage appropriately.
What?
That's the kind of stuff
Yeah.
you're still seeing out there.
Stanley Brothers.
And I don't think Humboldt
say it.
County
I'm
would
behind
ever
the camera.
stand for that. We need you guys in the rest of the country. We do.
We always did.
We wouldn't be here without you. That's the reality. I wouldn't be doing what I love to do without you, and without the sacrifices your families and the rest of your neighbors have made. It's got a deep place in my heart.
We owe you a debt.
So I think you guys have an opportunity to do things better. And while people say that Colorado has this golden standard, if you will, and you hear it a lot in Colorado, they're proud of what they've created. You guys are very proud of about what you've created too. We do have to deal with some regulation and some scrutiny. And there's things I want you to be prepared for. Just as if you were to go into surgery and somebody would say, hey, these are the risks. These are the effects you could see from something. And it's not even as serious as surgery, okay? Compliance can be pretty easy. But it's things like seed to sale tracking and making sure you can monitor the amount of product that you're producing. And I think what's amazing about this initiative is you do that based on what you know in agriculture, rather than some legislators making it up and pulling it out of their ass.
Yeah,
for lack of a
because
better
that
term.
sucks.
You're doing it based on square foot size and the eventual yield by weight, rather than tying like people to plants, which is the worst way to regulate an agricultural industry. You're dealing with things like plant count limitations in that respect. And also zoning and licensing and protection for the environment, protection for the watershed and the animals. And I think that having come from Colorado, we can see some synergies around testing to make sure product is safe before patients ingest it, that it hasn't been dipped in Eagle 20, right? And also make sure people know how much they're consuming. I know that this is equivalent to a shot, is equivalent to a cocktail, because regulation says so. And I know not to over consume or over imbibe as a responsible user, whether it's alcohol or marijuana. So I think those are important concepts from sort of the policy world that are being discussed. And whether that's set at a Humboldt level or whether that's set at a state level, you're going to see very similar changes with the permitting and with the changes to the state law. But I want to let you know it's not anything that you guys can't overcome. And if there's anything that this industry can do, it's overcome challenges. And this community in particular is well versed at it and well practiced at it. And more importantly, you have an opportunity to create what works for you, to own your own future and to secure it for generations to come. And I wish we had that opportunity in Colorado, but we never did. We never did. And compliance in this space isn't that much of a challenge, especially compared to who you guys are as a community and what is possible in general. And this is bigger than even Humboldt. This transcends the globe. And you're just setting the example for California right now. But the rest of the world's going to pick up on it. It's already moving downhill. We've already won the war on drugs. People just need to let it unfold and realize that it's there. So I get these little analogies in my head, these little symbolisms, and in a really big way, I'm in the soil in Humboldt. This is the root ball of everything that's been created in the movement, and in the culture, and in the industry. From genetics, and really understanding the knowledge of cultivation, of technology, of what it takes to grow really quality marijuana with care. Humboldt's the place where it comes from. And people want to try to emulate that. In Colorado Springs, of all places, I've got a Humboldt Care and Wellness in my city. A dispensary that stole your name and defined the brand for themselves. Right?
Boo!
Right? Hey, they're not one of my clients. But the reality is they are trying to copy that. They're trying to take a little bit of what you got. Steal that mojo to some extent. And there's power in that. You guys are probably sitting on a $4 to $5 billion brand with a B of what Humboldt County really is, with over 56,000 growers in those hills. Heritage farms that have been doing it for generations, that know what the hell they're doing, and have some of the best land, air, and water to do it with in organic, sustainable practices. And why wouldn't you want to define that and preach it from the mountaintops to the world proudly?
Right.
And you should. Otherwise, somebody else will try to do it for you that has nothing to do with Humboldt County.
And fuck them.
Fuck them, yeah. But in a really big way, you guys are the reason why hundreds of thousands and millions more patients are going to have access to healing with this plant, and the ability to stop their kids' seizures or stop their arthritis and everywhere in between. And it's because of the dedication, the willingness to take risks, the willingness to get the job done at the end of the day, no matter what the cost, that has created that for everyone else. And I think in a really big way, Humboldt is the reason why we have freedom alive in America today.
Indeed! You can connect that dot.
And this movement is giving people hope around the world. My mom is from Brazil. I'm actually half Brazilian, half American. And my heritage has come from a long line of natives in the Brazilian jungles, so to speak. But to see what colonization did to that, and then to see what that turned into in terms of the drug war, the impact on South America alone is something I'm very passionate about. I'd love to go down there and transform the damage we've done. And you guys have been the American sort of equivalent to whether it's growers down there or distribution lines. Just seeing how massively impactful this drug war has been on the rest of the world, I think it starts here. The healing has to start here. And we're growing a plant that does that. So it transcends a lot of different levels. So at the end of the day, guys, I just want to say thank you for having me up here. I'm very grateful to be here. And I wouldn't be here without you. That's a very true statement. I'm honored that you guys had me here tonight, and I'm excited to help you build bridges into the future however I can. I appreciate the opportunity, and just want to remind everybody that we're in this together, and it's that unity that really creates community. So thank you all for your time. Much appreciated.
Thank you, Mark.